Prescott Valley. Bob Ticer here, Police Chief for our awesome town. It's great to be here again for Chief Chat. Today we have two of our awesome folks from the police department. Now, many of you have been listening to Chief Chat and know we talk a lot about the sworn police officers on the department, but we have two of our professional staff members here today, Mary and Amy. They are assigned to administrative support. So we can look at their job titles and their job description, but really what they do is they work alongside me every day in our chief's office and focus on how we support the police department, how we support the officers in the field, how do they support me. So today we're going to talk about some of their duties and also some of the community events that they're involved in. So welcome, ladies. Glad to have you here.
Thanks, glad to be here.
Great to have you. So Mary, you're the supervisor of administrative support that work alongside me every day. So maybe you could talk to the public a little bit about what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. I'm the Administrative Services Manager, and I have a threefold, mainly, responsibilities. The budget for the department is huge. I work with that on a daily basis. So thanks for supporting me on that, as well as all of command staff, Chief, that helps us with that, as well as I help out you and command staff on daily responsibilities, make sure you get to things that you need to get to, have all of your backup ready for you for council meetings, etc. I also, the third item is Amy's here, and she's part of the admin team. Thank you, Amy. Greatly appreciate all your support that you do for our department. Not only is it just with the team that we have, but we focus on community service internally to help out, as well as there's things that come from the community that we have to help out with. So our main focus is community service. So those are the three things that I strive for every day, and try to help out as much as we can on any type of duties or responsibilities that might come our way.
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome. And so for the folks listening out there, it wasn't for Mary, I wouldn't be here today. As she said, she keeps me online, keeps me on track, helps me out with my schedule, makes sure I'm where I need to be, and supports me that way, so I really appreciate that. And any CEO or director or chief, if they didn't have the administrative support behind them, it would be a very difficult job, so thank you for that. Also, one of my math teachers from junior high I had a conversation with recently, and I told her about the budget that I'm responsible for. She had a little smirk when I said that, because she last saw me when I was in 7th grade. If it wasn't for Mary helping me with the budget, that would be a challenge too, so thank you for that. And there's so much that goes into a police department, a large organization with budget and ordering of equipment and processes and payroll, and so I know you do a lot in that area too, so we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Amy, so glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about what you do on a daily basis.
Absolutely, thanks for having me first off.
Sure.
So my main admin functions, I am lead in payroll for the entire department. And I also do purchasing of equipment, supplies. I do fleet organization. I get our vehicles, so if there's an issue with our vehicles, I schedule it, get it over there so that no officers have any issues with their vehicles. I also do, I kind of partake in some grants, specifically with GOHS, Governor's Office of Highway Safety. And that's where a lot of my job function comes in. I do a lot of community events. I like to be out in the community and providing for our kids of the future of this community. So one of the events that I partake in that's coming up tonight is back to school. So myself and fellow officers, we go to the elementary schools and middle schools, and we hand out pedestrian and bicycle safety material. This could include reflective slap bracelets, and coloring books, anything we can to get these kids to understand the safety of, what's out on the roadway and why they're on the sidewalks or streets that don't have sidewalks. So we'll do that tonight. That's one of the events that I do. Another recent event that I organized was Know Your Limits. We went to the Dwight Yoakam concert, and we'll be going to other concerts, and we educate people on alcohol intake. A lot of people don't realize what it takes to get them to that limit where they shouldn't drive. Right. So we educate the public that way. Another community service that I partake in is I'm a car seat technician, And so I organize the car seat safety events. And we do those every so often just to make sure the young in our community are safe, parents are educated on how to make that possible for their kids, and then also if they need car seats, there's some available for them. Another huge community event that we do is the DUI assemblies at the high schools. So when I was younger, we used to do them in high school, and I could still remember it. And so Sergeant Caswell of Traffic and I were like, we need to bring this back in. And we did. And so we've gone to a couple high schools thus far. We bring in parents who have either lost their children or who have experienced some kind of traumatic event due to DUI of drugs or alcohol. And we educate these kids with no sugarcoating it. Of real life, this is what happens when you make these mistakes. So that one is my favorite of all the events that I do. And we also do the bike rodeo. The bike rodeo is twice a year, which I hope if anyone has young kids, come on out. The bike rodeo is amazing. We give out helmets and again, educate our young of our community of how to be safe on their bicycles. And that is in October. They're the Harvest Festival, and then we also do it in spring. And we have a lot of people that partake in that, and it's a wonderful event. So I do those, and then I do my admin. I like to stay busy, and Mary is very supportive of everything that I do, and as are you, and I really appreciate that. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're both super busy, and we appreciate that. So a lot of people think administrative support personnel, like each of you, is doing administrative work, but it sounds like you have a lot of other duties other than just the day-to-day paperwork from what you described. So thank you for that. For the public, you mentioned car seats. Car seats are so important to make sure children are in there, and the laws are fairly complicated too as to when you're supposed to be in a booster seat, rear facing, forward facing. So can the public just call you? How does the public find out about this, and how do they know when you're available to help them with their seat installations?
Absolutely, they can call anytime. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And we also do events. We try to do them at least once a month.
Okay.
Sometimes during the summer, because the heat, because we like to be outside doing it, we find that that's a lot easier for parents. And so we don't have as many in the summer, but we do have one coming up on August 10th.
Okay.
And that will be behind Starbucks in the
Okay.
kind of like the Kohl's parking lot.
Great.
Like I said, if they need to come by the department, I'll be happy to answer any questions. My priority is make sure these kids are safe in their car seats and they're not in an expired car seat or they're not in a seat above where they should be.
Right.
And that's what we see a lot. And the parents, it's no fault to parents whatsoever. They're trying their best, but I'm here just to educate them.
That's great. Yeah, there's a lot to it to putting a seat in properly, right?
Yes,
For
and it
sure.
constantly changes. I feel like I learned
Yeah.
when I went to the school 3 years ago, I actually went out and bought a new car seat that day because I thought I was doing everything right, but it
Yeah.
turns out I wasn't. And it's okay. We think we can always learn and we can always do better. So
Great. Thank you.
that's what we're here for.
Thank you for that. And before I get back to you, Mary, tell us a little bit about, you mentioned about bicycle helmets available for children if they come to the bike rodeo. Is there a cost to the public for that?
No cost
No
at all.
cost.
We, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety funds the helmets for us. And so if a child needs a helmet, we have sizes between toddler and all the way to extra large.
Great.
And so we have officers out there that understand how to fit the helmet properly, and we also teach the parents how to do this. And so when they size up, they know what to look for
That's
on
awesome.
the helmets. So yeah, we have plenty to give away. So look forward to that, the Harvest Festival in October.
That's great. And we really appreciate what you're doing on impaired driving. As Amy mentioned, some of our concerts, people go enjoy the concerts, have something to drink, but we're helping them understand the limits. And you have a breathalyzer out there when you do that?
Yes, we use a PBT.
Okay.
So yeah, a breathalyzer.
Yeah.
And we're not out there to track anybody down, it's just education. That's what
Yeah.
we're there for. And so yeah, they blow into the breathalyzer. We use it as statistics for us and educate them. And we
Yeah.
have pamphlets to give away to kind of see, like, if you have a certain alcohol beverage, this is what you could blow in the PBT.
Right. And then use Uber. Use a designated driver. I mean, any alcohol in your system, get an Uber.
Exactly. It's not worth
It's not worth it.
not worth it.
And that's why you give these presentations at the high schools and such too.
Absolutely.
Because it's not just about potentially getting a DUI, it's about potentially killing somebody.
Yes, and we also cover speed and seatbelt usage during these assemblies because those
Wonderful.
are huge with teenagers as well.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Absolutely.
Mary, you mentioned some of your duties there, and Amy touched on a little bit about grants.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about grants? Because the public, for those listening, your hard-earned dollars, your tax money goes to support the police department so we can serve you. But all of our operations of the department aren't just through local tax dollars, right? We have
That's
grants.
correct.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We have several grants in all different kinds of areas. It could be canine grants. It could be for CIT for training. CIT is the training for mentally, helping people, our sworn officers, to give them more ability to help them throughout their days. So there's also there's different kinds of things, of grants that we could use for that, as well as resources available for sworn officers as well as professional staff. So Amy mentioned the Governor of Highway Safety. We have the Department of Highway Safety that we use. I mentioned the canine grants. There's several. So we look to that to also help supplement the things that can help our officers and our professional staff in daily duties.
So we can use some of those grants through that GOHS one you said, through some of our traffic enforcement vehicles. We get those on grants, right? So those don't cost from local tax dollars. They're provided by the state.
We've used the GOHS, Governor of Highway Safety, to help us for enforcement with vehicles. So that's absolutely correct.
That's awesome. What about equipment such as, some of you may have heard recently, we put license plate readers technology into the community to combat crime, right? And did the locals pay for that, or did that come on grants?
That came on grants, a good one for us to bring up, Chief. We partnered with Flock Safety to help us get in some dollars to help put those license plate readers, or LPRs, up to help with the security of our community. So that was huge. We've also have a body-worn camera that we have as a grant that we use to help the officers. And it helps the community as well as our officers with their safety for the body-worn camera usage. So that was a big grant that we also were able to obtain.
That's awesome. So it's fair to say that we get grant dollars from federal, state, and
local
to support operations like this, to support our community, right?
That's
and you're
correct.
responsible, both of you are responsible for handling those grants for the department, in
Yes.
addition to everything else that you talked about. You're doing.
As well as other administrative staff that helps us with those as well.
That's great. I appreciate it. And then you make sure everybody's paid.
Absolutely.
We don't
very
do this for
important.
free. I mean, we love our jobs, but we still like to get paid, though, right? So,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
so that's very important.
It is.
And I'm appreciative of
you.
the members of the organization to be able to be funded and be paid for the great work that they all do. So thank you very much for everything you do. So
Thanks.
awesome.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Chief.
it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This has been another edition of Chiefs Chat. We're so happy to have you join us today as we support our folks that support the department so we can run operations here smoothly and keep our community safe. So until we see you again, thank you very much. Have a safe day and a safe rest of the summer. Have a great day.